Hi guys, I am here today with a very, very special guest. He is the man, the myth, the legend, the icon, and the artiste, Larry King. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, darling. That was an intro. I'm like, wow.
That really was quite good. Just rolled off the tongue. I recently had the best haircut of my life ever with you. So I was in the salon and I experienced all the magic of everything that you guys do, and it just felt so cool. And I want to kind of get into all of that, but I want to go all the way back. How did you first start? Were you just freelancing? Were you working in a salon? How did the empire begin?
So I was basically working in a London salon, quite a well-known one, and I had a friend of mine. I suppose I was doing hairdressing for quite a long while, and then a friend of mine, she was a booker at Select Model Agency, and she kind of approached me and said, "Would you start cutting our models' hair? We kind of don't really like anyone who cuts their hair." So I said yeah, and I just started cutting a lot of the Select models' hair, which led to people like David Gandy and stuff like that. And then he approached me and was like, "I only really like it when you do my hair." So then he started to request me on shoots and stuff like that, and that's kind of where it started.
Okay.
For the shoots side of things.
Was that because your style was more editorial? Or more kind of high fashion and a bit cooler?
I don't know if it was that. I'm not sure really. I think I was funny enough having this conversation with my wife only yesterday. I think the one thing that I love most about my industry is cutting hair.
Yeah.
I really like cutting hair. So like there's so much to it now, and there's such a broad spectrum of what you can do. You can be a session hairdresser, which is majority of it is all about styling, hair ups, blow dries, stuff like that.
Is
Very
that for
little
shoots?
Can
What
be
does
red
the
carpet
session- Oh, okay.
can be
Events.
classed as like events, red carpet, editorial shoots, fashion shoots, shows, music industry. It's across the really, really, really broad spectrum. Comes under the title session hairdresser.
Yeah.
But for me, a lot of them equally, some people can do all of this styling, hair ups and stuff like that, but they actually don't do a lot of cutting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really like cutting. So I suppose I started cutting all of these models' hair, and obviously I'd style their hair in the salons and stuff like that, and then they go on shoots and stuff, and it was the hair that you'd see in Dior campaigns or Hermes or Louis Vuitton and things like that, and Dolce & Gabbana. And so David, basically asked me, and it kind of snowballed from there. Really, I kind of continued to get more and more people ask, and they'd started asking me to go on their shoots, to do their hair on the shoots. Poppy Delevingne, the list goes on.
It
and on.
is crazy. I was looking this morning at who you do, and it's just everyone.
Yeah, it's quite.
I don't know how you fit it all in, but also just going back to the styling and everything, because what I've noticed, because I hadn't had my hair cut for so long before I came in, and the styling that you can do after you've had a really good, cool cut is way better, right? Whereas if you just you were giving these models just this really cool haircut that then you were able to style in this fresh way.
Yeah, I think if someone gets a really good haircut, the whole point is it's super versatile.
Yeah.
So you then can create multiple different styles, multiple different looks out of one haircut.
Yeah.
And I think this is a crucial thing that I like to say to our customers is, look at what you're wearing. Treat yourself like a bit of a fashion shoot or, what you're wearing. Because, one day you might be wearing something that's quite smart, so you want to go quite sleek, quite neat, clean. The next day, you might be wearing something that's a bit more casual. So it's all about, you really should be really varying up your styles. You shouldn't just have a lot of people do have one go-to look,
pony,
or even two looks. But you should really vary it up and have a good 5. I truly believe that most people could get a good 5 looks out
of their one hairstyle.
Yeah.
So, okay, I love this. I didn't think we were going to go down. So, just as like a tip, so I don't have any other hairstyle. I just have it down, either straight or with a slight wave with a straight bit at the bottom. That is as far as it goes.
Yeah.
And occasionally I'll tie my hair up when I'm teaching.
Yeah.
But I would not know. Like, what would be the 5 looks then?
I think it's kind of like...
Depending on what you're wearing, I guess.
Depending on what you're wearing, I think it's about utilising the tools that are out there right now.
Yeah.
So if you're applying the right products and stuff like that, then you could use things like an air wrap. Do you know, a Dyson air wrap with a mousse. Get loads of volume in it. Loads of volume, loads of bounce, loads of curl. So that's kind of one look. Do you know what I mean? And if you're applying the right products and you're using your air wrap, you'll get that volume. But then what you can do is the next day you can like maybe
what outfit would you pair that with? I love that this has become like a styling session.
A styling session.
I'm so intrigued because you do have a cool look. You've got such an eye for it. So if you had like a bouncy blow dry look, what would you then pair that with outfit wise?
I think it's, you could be quite tailored. You see things like Victoria Beckham's birthday recently. She had like, she had quite a full bouncy blow dry. Do you know what I mean? I think when you think about that, she wears it quite sleek at the front, but it was quite full at the bottom. But I think, I've got other friends of mine that will wear a Mac or a coat. Very smart, do you know what I mean? So like
So the more kind of relaxed you go in the hair, then you smarten up the outfit. Do you like that kind of?
No, I'd go like...
You match it?
Yeah, I'd kind of almost go the opposite. You don't have to, but, it's kind of what suits. So like, for instance, if you then had a down day, you could spritz in some like sea salt or volumizing spray, and then you could shake up that bounce to make it more beachier and more textured.
Yeah, like that second day.
Do you know what I mean?
Kind of,
and then you could wear it like... You could wear it with like hoodies or, loungewear or jeans, do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. And then it might be that you're going out in the evening. So then you could like, tie up, leaving all these soft bits down, do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like that unstructured hair up, which
effortless.
Is quite effortless, sexy.
But a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Effortless, but this has taken me an hour.
So then it's like you're merging through the different journey from what you started to where you kind of ended, do you know what I mean? Slowly but surely.
Yeah, and this is when your products come into it, because I love the mousse. I love the oil. I've been using this, is it called City Girl shampoo?
City Life shampoo,
City Life.
City Life.
It's
just for
so,
cleansing.
it gives you such
nice
a good clean, really, really nice. So, okay, so you started doing all of that. So David Gandy was your, like the kind of turning point. Once you started doing his hair, then other things were coming up.
I think he was definitely, I would say he was one. He was probably the main one. I kind of started working with him a hell of a lot, doing all of his stuff. And then what happened is I'd work on like maybe a campaign with a brand.
Yeah.
And then the brand would actually like me. So they would then be like, oh, we're going to book you for another job with another person.
Yes.
So do you know what I mean? Or a magazine was like, oh, it was so good working with that guy. Let's book him again for another cover with another guy. And then when I'd do that person was like, oh, you're cool. Can I? Yeah. And it kind of was like, it moved like that. So it was kind of, that's how...
So it just goes to show how important first impressions are. So when you walk in, if you're just thinking about someone getting into this, if they're a hairstylist or whatever, they go on a shoot, they really need to kind of put themselves out there a little bit and make that relationship.
Yeah, I always say that I think the hairdresser on the shoot is like the court jester. Do you know what I mean? So the job of a hairdresser on a shoot is not only to create good hairstyles, but he's also to kind of keep the sort of, the hype, keep the atmosphere high, the energy high. I think, a lot of the time you'll get the photographer will be setting up lighting and stuff like that. And that takes time, shifting the lighting around, getting the mood right. So the model can be sitting there, can be like half an hour, 45 minutes. So there's elements of boredom sets in. So if you're having a laugh and joking around, then you're keeping that energy up with everybody.
Yeah, and you're going around the room and people
and
are
I
feeding
think
off
that's
of that energy.
I was on my agency. My first agency I was with was Streeters, and I was with them for 10 years. And I remember my agent once saying to me that being a session hairdresser isn't just about being good at hair. It's also having a certain type of personality.
Yeah.
And
did
that's
that
quite
come
crucial.
naturally to you, or did you have to were you aware that that's what you had to do, or was it just a natural thing and then you noticed it was working?
This is a funny question. I don't know. I have this...
Because I was so shy before all of this stuff, so it was something I really had to work on. Did you just naturally walk into a room and feel that like energy? And
I kind of this sounds a bit I don't know how I can explain it without sounding quite... People always say like I have some sort of energy that draws people to me.
Yeah.
I can't tell you why.
You were just born with it.
I honestly cannot.
Yeah, but it is true.
I have like a kind of like, I've got other people, like so many people in London that I know, and yeah, I just have some. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it is. I can't tell you. I've had people say like, that kind of drawnness is what my brand's about, really.
Yeah. How did you grow up?
Were
you a little
really
bit
cheesy
no?
About
because
it,
I do think that is, and I think that is linked to how you were kind of at home when you were younger. Did you have siblings? Were you almost like the performer of the family?
No, I had no. I have two brothers from my dad's side, two half brothers.
Okay.
I'm my only child with my mum.
Okay.
So my mum is quite like me.
Okay.
I do follow from my mum. She's quite out there and very bubbly in character, yeah. And so is my nan and stuff like that. And so is my dad. So I don't know if it's just come from that.
Yeah.
But
especially
I can't tell you honestly. I cannot tell you where it's come from or how it is and what it is. I literally don't know. But
and you grew
even
up,
my team are like.
You just have it. I do think people have it in them, like they either are or they're not. Like I was honestly so shy before, so I've had to like work on that myself. But friends of mine are just, they can walk in and just be this energy and character. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not shy. I'm not. When I say I'm not shy, I'm like quite. I don't care about making a fool of myself.
Yeah. But I think that's what it is, that confidence of just that energy where it's like you're just yourself.
Yeah.
And people, when someone's themselves, then the person with that person feels at ease.
Yeah.
So then you probably bring out the best in other people because they're just comfortable
and I think
with you.
When it comes to my salon and everything, I think the one thing that we set out right at the beginning is not to treat anyone different.
Yeah.
And I really don't treat anyone different.
Yeah, I think that's so important.
So like,
it doesn't matter if you have a huge celebrity or,
No, it doesn't exactly that, or someone who's like one of the wealthiest people in the world, and then there's someone who's saved up, to travel down to come to the salon for their first time. Everybody should be treated the same. I think our salon is, the whole point was a social life for your hair. It's everybody's welcome. It's a really lovely place that's not, a lot of salons people walk into and they feel quite intimidated by them and stuff like that, and quite nervous. As is really not like that.
Yeah, it's not at all, and I think it is typically quite an intimidating place for people, and also you have to like stare at yourself in the mirror the whole time.
Yeah, and all these things, and I think we all and a lot of when we first set out the salons, we had a social life for your hair, and the idea was that to create that kind of barbershop feel into a salon environment. So like where you go into a barbershop and people will be sitting there all day long, chatting, like guys with hanging out. We wanted the same feeling in our salons.
Yeah.
And it really is like that. I've had people that have left reviews saying Larry King's is the best day bar in London. Do you know what I mean? And I never want to leave, and I could sit in there, like on reviews of the salon and stuff like that, and I could sit in there all day long.
Yeah.
Often there'll be 5 of us doing hair, and we're all
And then the
conversations.
customers are chatting.
All chatting,
Yeah,
and often
so
someone
nice.
will see someone they know, and their
Yeah.
friend, or just bump into their friend, and a lot of the time, all of the staff then, all my staff start taking the mick out of me, joke about me, which
You're
is
just the
I
butt of
like.
the joke.
Yeah, I like. Like after 9 times out of 10, they all tell me that I dress like a teenager. Here he comes. But I'm like the dad dressed as a teenager.
But that's such a nice environment to create, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that is what makes it special.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the people it's the team. It's not me. It's the team.
Oh, 100%. The team around you and that energy that you create in the environment is everything. And it filters down, doesn't it?
It massively filters down, and I think it's also like the caring for them all.
Yeah.
I think I've got like a group of people. I think what was crucial to where we set out is within my salon. There's at the initial, say 10.
Yeah.
Have all worked with me in 4 different salons, and we've all been on the journey coming up together. So they don't look at me like a boss; they look at me as their mate. So
yeah,
the salon is a team thing. If it's not working, it's not for me. It's for all of us to.
Yeah, everyone pulls their weight, and there's that shared end goal rather than this is my salon and you're working for me. It's like our salon, our goals.
And everyone's paid. I like to think that everyone gets paid like really well.
Yeah.
So
they're valued.
I don't tend to lose staff very rarely. So they stay for quite a long time because they're valued.
Which I guess is quite rare in a salon environment.
Yeah, and being valued means that people can, they then do see it as their own.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they do, that is like, you kind of like do care for it. Care about it.
And focusing on your employees, your customers are gonna, like, if you focus on the employees first, the customer will also feel that rather than just focusing on the customer.
Hugely.
Yeah.
I think loads of our customers really feel that. Loads of them. And I think...
Well, I felt it.
Thanks, my darling.
And I loved the haircut. So how did you... So obviously you were teaching. You were not teaching. You were doing everyone's hair by this point.
Yeah.
When did you then decide, okay, I'm going to open a salon? Because you now have 3 salons and you're opening a 4th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We basically, I suppose I was doing lots of people. I was working in the salon, very busy. I was doing lots of shoots and stuff like that. And then I had kind of one client of mine.
Yeah.
He came in and we talked about doing the salon, and he was like, "You need to do this."
Yeah.
And he kind of really supported me and really took me under his wing. And I had no idea about business plans, and my belly's going in. You can hear it rumbling, right? He kind of, I didn't know, at that time I didn't know about business plans and stuff like that. And he kind of set out that, and it's always been a team with me and my wife.
Yeah.
So going back to it, like when I was doing the shoots, just to jump back a bit, when I was doing the shoots, I was doing this, and my wife was a lingerie designer.
Oh, wow.
And so we kind of were
you guys have been together forever, haven't you? How long?
Yeah, like 24 years.
That's crazy.
So we kind of was on this kind of doing our separate thing, and then one kind of Christmas we kind of was chatting and drinking over Christmas, and we was like, look, we need to do this together. So we set up like a blog called Larry's World, and she designed the whole website because she's more digital design and stuff like that. Yeah. So she designed the whole website, and that's how it kind of streamed, this Larry's World, this kind of blog, this personality, and from that it grew and grew, and that's when I had this client, and he said, look, you need to do a salon.
So you're the original blogger?
I wouldn't say I'm the original blogger, no way. But I kind of had this kind of separate thing, because I think...
So that's how you actually built a bit of a taste for, like, you knew that, okay, there's something here now. That was like the stepping stone. Yeah, because I think it was social life for your hair was like, let's have fun. We got the hashtag then, social life for your hair, and that kind of then was the hashtag that went into the salons, and now it's gone into the products, and it's like the blog
ethos.
Was the lifestyle and the ethos behind
the
social life. Okay.
It was the court jester.
Okay.
it was like you had the editorials that show you the court jester side of the editorials, the fun parts, you know.
Also probably creating you as a personal brand.
Yeah, I recently put on social media the other day a picture of me and David, funny enough, on one of our early shoots in LA.
Yeah.
And we're both hysterically laughing, and the photographer took the picture.
Oh, so nice.
And it's he even the other day was interviewed by the Sunday Times Star, and he said it's his favourite picture. He's one of his most favourite pictures of him.
Because it was just so natural. And,
it's such a really...
And also probably, like, just from memory, David Gandy doesn't really smile in pictures, does he?
No, and we are in hysterics in this picture. It's
so
like a black and white hysterical picture of me and him laughing. I can't ever tell the joke that we're laughing about, but we will know it. I'll tell you after, but it will... it is very funny, the reason why we're laughing. But I think, and that's the court jester, that's the Larry's World, that's where that kind of thing started.
And then in the meantime, you had this client that was more the business side of things and brought that to you.
He brought it to us, and then me and Laura started, you know, we'd done the business plan together, we designed it. She designs all of the salons, the way they look.
Oh, wow.
So all the interiors, the website, everything you see that's not hair tends to be Laura.
Yeah.
So the packaging of the products, the logos,
the branding and everything is incredible.
That's Laura.
So she's done all of that. You never had an agency, right?
I've never had one agency ever. So she literally is like...
She's an unsung hero.
Yeah, so all of the package, every single bit of packaging, everything. Branding.
Wow.
We've never had an agency do anything.
Power couple.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, actually. And which was your first salon that you opened?
The first one was in South Kensington.
Okay. And is that friend of yours still involved now? Was he an investor, like an early?
Yeah, he's an investor,
cool.
an early investor. He's still involved now, along with a few other my clients, really close clients of mine have invested. And then we moved on. We opened the salon, and 2 years later, we launched our first three products that were our hero products.
What were they?
That was a Social Life for Your Hair cream.
Okay.
Our velvet texture clay and a volumizing mist that's very soft and light that everybody loves. And then I think it was a year later we opened Notting Hill. Mm-hmm. And then we went into COVID for 2 years. Yeah. So that kind of was like, as much as it was just before we opened the salon, but it was fine.
Was it fine? So you obviously couldn't do anything in that whole time.
Yeah, but I kind of had I've always had good support from Redken, and like what's quite nice is within the hairdressing industry, when you open salons, you can partner with you can choose
brands.
To partner, and I partnered with Redken and Dyson, and they've
always been
good. Really big supporters. And
so were you just filming content from home?
Yeah, I went on this mad. I'd done these Larry waffles, which were very funny. I just went like. What was quite funny is I dived into the lives.
Yeah.
And I didn't ever really think of lives as a live.
Yeah.
So I'd go on and I'd do these we first started off and we'd done these Larry's waffles, and
That's such a good name.
Yeah, it was kind of like I suppose it was like a podcast, but it wasn't. It was like an hour or half an hour of me interviewing clients.
Oh, okay. Clients. So nice.
So I interviewed like Ashley Roberts from the Pussycat Dolls, David, Jack Whitehall. I done a haircut live. First 2 weeks in, we both went live, and I taught him how to cut his hair live, which then featured.
Did it turn out good?
It was a bit suspect, but then it
was great content. Thanks.
Well, then like Niall from One Direction jumped on and was watching it and commenting, and then
that's so
Radio
cool.
1
picked it
up on it and was like, "Oh my God, Larry King takes Jack Whitehall takes Jack Whitehall through to cutting his own hair at home with Niall Horan and stuff like that." So it was like. And we had like I said, I didn't really see these things as live. So from that, I went like I'd do a live on Vogue or on Harper's Bazaar, and the next thing I'm doing a live on John Lewis's Instagram account and stuff like this. And I really didn't think about it. And then one day, I can't remember who's, I think I was on Elle magazine or something. And it was like, they got like 2-3 million followers.
That's
and,
crazy.
Down in the bottom corner, you look and you've got like so many thousands of people watching. And then you're like,
oh, this is actually quite a thing.
This is actually live. And if I actually say the wrong thing here,
I can't go back.
I can't go back. No.
But
I
probably
really
because you are such a like kind of candid, open person, probably they worked so well.
Yeah, but I swear, honestly, I really didn't think about it up until a certain point, and then I was like, oh my God. Yeah. I was like, wow. This was a good like sort of 5 months afterwards. I was like dying because I think we started the Larry's Waffles and then we started doing some other things I had like, and they were all quite funny little things. And what was quite unfortunate is, when you went live,
yeah,
you could then save them.
I never once did a live in lockdown, but I saw every single person.
Do you remember you could save them and then post them to your
and
grid?
then it was like a thing on your grid.
So I never knew you could save them.
Oh no, Larry.
No. So I done all of these Larry's Waffles and I've got no like...
No proof.
Well, yeah, loads of people watched them and saw them. I had like Ricky from the Kaiser Chiefs.
Oh, what a shame.
That drew me while I was live.
You need to somehow email Meta and be like, do you have that material?
It was just, it was really good, but...
Okay, well, maybe this is your sign to bring out your own... What about Larry's Waffles podcast?
Yeah. I
Film it in the salon.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
It is... I mean, you've got these other things now as well. You've got like streamers and stuff like that. Someone was talking to me the other day and they was like, why don't you just stream yourself all day long cutting hair? And I was like, are you sure, right? Have you seen
What
these
is
guys?
that? What, an online streaming thing?
Yeah, there's this thing called streamers and there's like these guys that are like literally film themselves
just all day long.
All day long.
And
and they have hundreds of thousands of people
that.
watching them.
Wow.
One guy apparently...
It's a bit Big Brother-ish.
Yeah, one guy streamed himself sleeping and he had like do you know about this? He had like 10,000 or something people watching him all through the night sleep.
Wow.
He's
well,
really
I mean, if all else fails, we've got that as an option.
He's just bizarre. No one wants to watch me sleep. There'll be a lot of people that want to watch you sleep. No one wants to watch me sleep, trust me. I'm definitely a dribbler.
Oh my God. Okay, well, you just seem like the most positive, relaxed person, but has there been any kind of challenges or moments where you've thought, oh my God, like maybe it's, for example, COVID? I mean, obviously you turned that around and that was great, but it must have been a stress at the time. Or has there been anything else? Like, what's been your biggest challenges so far?
Tough question.
You are so laid back, aren't you?
COVID, I didn't find too stressful, actually. I think it's about communication through COVID with my team, communicating with them, keeping them involved.
Yeah.
Keeping the business, and staying out there, pivoting quickly.
Having a bit of a presence still in the way that you could.
Yeah, pivoting as quickly as you can into doing stuff like that.
And how did you include your team in that? How were they involved in what you were still doing?
We would just do things like, evening, all get together live, like on a group. Zoom, do you know what I mean? And all drink on Friday nights on Zooms and party and do DJ, one with DJ and all these different things. I definitely think, I suppose coming out of COVID, there's definitely was a journey of, bringing people back into the salon. Yeah. And stuff like that. Like staff and, people trying to follow that path. What I do have is I have these two businesses, where one is a product and one is the salons. They both have very challenging different things. Yeah.
Did you find, because obviously one is a service business and then you've got your product, did you find the product side of things a lot more stressful?
I think one is the team.
Right.
One you're
people
managing the team and looking after the team and keeping them, creating them being excited about being hairdressers and that whole side of things, and which then leads to the products. But then with the products you have things like
a fulfillment centre and
exactly and like
returns and customer services.
Yeah, and I've bought 10,000 mousse bottles, but I'm having to wait an extra 3 months for the caps.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like the lids, or do you know what I mean? Or like, the
those
price of
moments
cardboard's
not
gone through the roof.
Oh yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
and your profit margins have now changed.
Yeah, so it's like things that is. But where my wife was in lingerie,
she knows that side.
She
of
knows that side of things a bit.
Okay.
Where manufacturing, because she'd obviously work in work with factories and stuff like that. So she had a lot more knowledge on that. I kind of am still a bit like, oh my God.
Yeah, so you just
because it is, you're putting in so many different components into the equation.
Yeah, and would you? I mean, telling someone that's listening that's kind of starting a product business, where did you even begin? Did you literally just send it all across to your lovely wife and tell her to do that?
We found a lab to work with.
Yeah.
To like help us develop.
And is that in the UK?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We found a company that makes products, and we really wanted to develop them ourselves. Because obviously you can get white label stuff that's just generic. We don't. We create our own fragrance that goes in each product. It's some products can take a year. Our curl cream took 7 years, six years to make.
Wow.
So it's a long process. It's a long process.
How many products do you have now? You've got quite a few, haven't you?
Yeah, I think we've got about 16 in total, but some of them are double.
Shampoo, conditioner, or sizing.
Like sizing.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think if I'm right, there's about 12, 13 in total.
That's crazy, and they've all become quite cult products, haven't they? Because you probably did you have quite a lot of space in between each launch?
Yeah, I think there's people that have launched, just gone straight off the bat and launched 14 straight away.
Yeah.
I think we've always been a case of launching like 3, 2, 1, because it's always about trying to. For us, we want to make sure it's right, so we use all of the team to like trial them and test them. So we have like 40, between 30 and 40 hairdressers. So we take them into the salons.
Putting it to the test, yeah.
Putting it to the test. We wait till they all turn around and say, oh, that's really great. We love that one. It's fantastic. That's the one. Once that's done, then that goes in, and that's like, that's the gold seal, and that's the one that then goes to what we make.
Then you feel confident putting it out there.
Yeah. It's really about them. And asking clients and stuff like that. So I think the more feedback you get.
Yeah.
On the idea that you want to create.
From real customers.
Yeah.
And from your hairdressers.
Yeah. So I think it's. Yeah.
You're just the most relaxed person. I just have to ask you, on the subject of being so relaxed, obviously I'm very health and wellness conscious and focused. We are going to turn you into a Pilates pro at some point. That's my mission. But how do you do anything? Because obviously you're a husband. He's getting all embarrassed. You're a husband, you're a dad, you have this empire now, and you're just so chilled. How do you stay calm? Do you do anything like a daily practice that keeps you chilled? Or do you just have this approach to life that is just like, what will be, and take each day as it comes?
No, listen, there's things that always come out that throw curveballs to you.
Yeah.
And stress you out, definitely. But I think a lot of the time I try to think about, is it stressful? Is it going to be stressful tomorrow? Do you know what I mean?
Am I going to think that this is a big deal in X amount of time?
Yeah. I think me and Laura really communicate to each other about things. It might be something that I get stressed about. She doesn't necessarily get as stressed, and the things that stress her out don't stress me out. So it's almost like we can kind of we can talk our way through things. Talk
each other off the ledge.
We don't have the same things that maybe necessarily stress each other out as much. I think we both like doing things like spending time with our 2 girls and in the garden. I do like going out in the garden. I do have things like little small hobbies and stuff.
What are your hobbies?
Or anything like that.
You don't play golf?
No.
What are your hobbies?
Sorry, lads.
Sorry, lads. What do you like doing? What are your hobbies?
I like going in the garden. I like going to garden centres and stuff.
Do you?
Yeah.
What,
like
as in actually gardening?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant just sitting out in the garden.
I like gardening.
Okay.
I
Got an Alan Titchmarsh on our hands here.
Monty Don. I like. I suppose.
Do you do that with your girls?
I like watching movies. I'm a big movie head. I love
What's
movies.
your favourite movie?
And I like a lot of stuff that's my childhood, like 80s and stuff. So like Star Wars and stuff like that, and all things that in my age, like from when I was growing up. I'm a bit of a nostalgic person when it comes to things like that. I'm often sending my dad videos of Hulk Hogan back in the day when I was like little, and we watched it together. So it's kind of like, I think that's what's quite nice about Instagram and TikTok. You get all these flashbacks about the things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Reminisce, and you can send them to your parents, and it's quite nice. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So,
so you're a family guy.
Yeah, I'm a big family guy. We have a family group chat called the Infamous Shit Show. And this is me.
And you all just send each other things.
Yeah, I often say that. I think, do you know, like, where you see these memes now?
Yeah.
Memes have become a way of gently telling your partner
that they do something that annoys you.
Yeah, without telling them, causing an argument. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can be like...
It's like a soft launch into the conversation.
It is. Do you not think? It's like, you blatantly turn around and say like, you know, like... I saw one the other day, and it's like, I often put stuff on the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
That needs to be taken up. But everyone in my family walks past the stuff on the stairs as if it's not there. So I sent that into the group and was like,
yeah, that's
this is
so
me.
true.
Do you know what I mean? So rather than having a big argument or a big, you know, like, why don't you ever take the stuff up on the stairs? I just send things like that. Yeah. Or, you know, my wife will send me things that remind me of what I do, certain things that I do, and stuff like that. We have dogs. We have a lot of animals.
Oh my God!
We have 3 dogs.
We could do a separate podcast talking about dogs.
Yeah, we have.
I've never had one before, and I've had one now for 4 or 5 months, and it's the best.
I have 3 dogs. Well, listen, my wife has 3 dogs. I just
look after them occasionally.
Dog poos up.
Yeah, exactly.
I pick the dog poos up. And
oh
then they just,
God, it is the worst.
And then I walk in, and they're in the kitchen on the sofa with her, and they all look at me as if to say, "Turn around, there you go. This
on.
is not your area."
Yeah.
So I tend to just turn around and walk out and go back into I'll be with like a little room where it's like a TV. So
you're
like,
banished.
Yeah, I'm just like, they literally look at me as if they don't even bother coming over here.
But having that family time and being with the dogs and being outside, that's a grounding thing, isn't it? And that will just take you away from the day to day.
Yeah, and I think we have done all of our business with our children.
Really?
So, yeah. So like, you know, my oldest is nearly coming up to 19, and my youngest is 13.
Oh my God.
So I opened the salons when one was 5.
That's
and the other
crazy.
one was like 13 or something.
Do they want to one
not
day?
Not even that, actually, like 11.
Do they want to follow in your footsteps?
No.
Do something completely different?
The eldest one is actually following my wife's footsteps and is at University of Arts
doing
that's
cool.
Design.
Amazing.
And the youngest one is just hilarious.
She's going to be a comedian.
Yeah, she's just jokes.
So just to finish, what would be your one piece of advice to everyone listening? It could be business related, life related. I feel like you're quite a wise guy.
I think I've got a few.
No pressure.
I've got a few probably. I've got like...
Okay, well, it doesn't have to be one.
Yeah, anyone who's kind of getting into hairdressing.
Yeah.
Never say no. Do you know what I mean? And I know it's an old cliche thing to say, but...
Say yes to everything.
So say yes to everything. And if you want to be a session hairdresser, you have to do a lot for free.
Yes.
You have to
gift your time.
You have to gift your time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to get a big... because what happens is often you'll get a big celebrity and you'll do, blow dries and work with them.
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
But then they will then book you for big campaigns and stuff like that. So always like
Look at the long game.
Look at the bigger picture. You know, never say no. Always dive in and take opportunities.
Yeah.
Even if it's your day off or a Sunday, you know, I'd get off the plane. I remember once I flew back from New York, and it was the Evening Standard Theatre Awards.
Oh yeah.
And I had like 3 big stars, really big stars, and I got off the plane and just went and done Arizona Muse, Poppy Delevingne, and Ruth Negga.
Oh wow.
And I'd done all 3 that night, and it was like, you know, for me it was about doing them and working with them for their look.
Yeah.
That was my number one priority. And I was with my friend, funny enough, and he's a hairdresser, and he was like, I can't believe you're going to do Free People's Hair after just landing from New York. And I was just like, but I got such a buzz from it.
Yeah, you've got to do those things, and especially in the beginning. It's like, it is your passion, so it's not work, it's just exciting, and you've got to put yourself in those situations where it can, well, firstly, you're just excited about being there and being a part of it and soaking it all up, but then imagine then what the knock-on effect is afterwards.
And then I think my other one would be like, if you do then end up with a salon and stuff like that, is look after your team, because you know, look after them, care about them, you know, because without them you're nothing.
Oh yeah. So completely.
Like, value them. Do you know what I mean? Value every single one of them, and you know, make it like a family.
I was just about to say, I think there's something to be said for creating that family atmosphere at work, and I love that with what we do, especially Sarah. I don't know what I'd do without my Sarah. I always joke to my boyfriend, and I'm like, I'd rather you left me than Sarah. So yeah, I completely get it.
I think that from the salon point of view, and then and then the last one would be, don't if you have a lot on, I think it's always good to just kind of slow down, prioritize certain things, and just not over stress about it.
Yeah, don't stress about things that aren't going to matter. It's not actually helpful.
It's not going to be helpful. You're not going to think clearly. You're not going to act clearly.
Yeah. We always talk about this, like being calm is such a superpower, because it allows you to be solution orientated rather than, oh my God, you're like flapping around this issue.
And talk about things.
Yeah.
I have a lot of investors, and I talk to all of my investors. I talk to all my staff. I try to get advice from all my clients. I mean, I am in a very fortunate place where I'll go in the salon and I'll cut, like, you know, and my team will cut 10 different people's hair every day. You know, hairdressing is known for, like, if you know, back in the day, traders would be like, if they wanted to find a trade that was going to happen, they'd go to their hairdresser, they'd go to their barber and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, hairdressers are a wealth of knowledge in the respects that they see 10 different people with 10 different backgrounds, 10 different careers every day. Do you know what I mean?
So ask questions and like soak it all up.
Listen, and you know, people's advice. Do you know what I mean? Just
that's a good one.
Talk. I like that. And I think that is probably the biggest thing that our industry has to offer, is
that exposure to so many people. And being curious, I think, is a good skill.
And every single person's different.
Yeah.
And everyone's got a story, and everyone could give you advice, do something. You know, often I've had so many opportunities of doing so many amazing things, and they've all come, you know, I'm a hairdresser. You know, like, we often, some of the teams say, like, we've done things, I've gone to some most incredible experiences. Yeah. And that's because clients have invited us.
Yeah, which is so amazing. And I love that about the world today, is that you can be, you know, a manicurist, but be the best manicurist in the world and have this huge following and travel the world. You can be an eyebrow specialist. And,
I think there's a lot of people that want to be celebrities.
Yeah.
But anyone can be a celebrity as long as you strive to be the best at what you do. You'll become a celebrity in that field.
Yeah. And even better, you'll become an expert.
and an expert. Yeah, you'll become like.
And
do
you'll
you know
have
what I mean?
that respect.
So it's like, do you know what I mean? You'll become exactly that. If you give your whole to hairdressing, you're that. If you give your whole thing to Pilates, you become. This. You know, now
it's so transferable.
Even down to like being a doctor or being a vet or any job, you can become the top of your field if you
give it your all,
and you'll become
a legend like you. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my darling. It's been great.
This was so nice. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll get you on the mat ASAP.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, darling.